The incident drew attention to the little-known U.S. military presence in Niger at a time when many Americans are weary of U.S. involvement in conflicts abroad and Nigerians are chafing at the growing presence of foreign troops on their soil. The United States has 800 soldiers operating in the largely desert West African nation, more than France, which has 4,000 in the wider Sahel trying to tackle Islamist militancy. The main U.S. base in Africa is in Djibouti, which supports about 4,000 personnel. A Pentagon investigation into the incident, led by a two-star general from U.S. Africa Command, may take weeks. The Pentagon says it has not settled on any final version of events. Accounts by Nigerian and American officials differ over the mission's objectives, and whether and how they may have changed. Considered safe, U.S. and Niger officials agree that on October 3, 12 U.S. Special Forces and 30 Nigerians left Niamey and headed north to the Mali border. 26 similar patrols had taken place in the area in the past 6 months without enemy contact, the Pentagon said. After that, the stories of the two sides diverge. Specifically, the mission aimed to detain and question a suspected recruiter for Islamic State in the Greater Sahara, an Islamic State affiliate, according to a senior Nigerian security source with knowledge of the operation, and 2 mid-level government sources, all of whom declined to be named. The senior source said the mission was thought low enough risk that they had no armored vehicles or body armor. U.S. officials vehemently contradict this account. All 3 Nigerian sources said the target was a mid-ranking commander called Down to Chafo who was recruiting disgruntled youths from the Fulani ethnic group along Niger-Mali border. Chafo commanded Islamic State fighters affiliated to the movement led by an Arabic-speaking North African called Adnan Abu Walid al-Sara'i, the Nigerian sources said. According to the senior Nigerian security official, the team initially sought Chafo out near a remote border village on October 3. They found a militant camp there but no fighters, he said. After that, Nigerian intelligence officials on the team received fresh orders from their headquarters to pursue him in the village of Tongo Tongo, so they stayed the night nearby, the official said. 3 U.S. officials, speaking on condition of anonymity, said that while it is true the team was given an additional task mid-mission, it was never in pursuit of a militant. Second team. The U.S. officials said their soldiers were asked to work with the Nigerian troops to be on standby to help a second U.S. military team whose mission was indeed to pursue a militant. That mission was called off, however. It is unclear when or why. Did the mission change? That's one of the questions being asked. I can't tell you definitively the answer to that question, General Joseph Dunford, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, said last month. The U.S. official said the first team was asked to gather intelligence on the militant. The Americans could do this under U.S. military rules of engagement that allow American forces to accompany partner forces only when the chances of enemy contact are unlikely. Asked about the existence of a second mission, none of the Nigerian sources were aware of it. U.S. and Nigerian officials agree the team was ambushed after they met local leaders in Tongo Tongo on October 4. One of the Nigerian government sources said the militants first came with just a few gunmen with AK-47s on motorbikes to slow them down, and later brought out heavier sniper rifles and rocket-propelled grenades. That might explain why the team took an hour to call for help, one of the issues that has most disturbed senior Pentagon officials, because the initial attack may have only involved light arms. One U.S. official said at least some of the 4 U.S. soldiers killed were then separated from the convoy. They included Sergeant Law David T. Johnson, whose body was not recovered for 2 days. It is unclear why. U.S. presence likely to grow. It is unlikely the United States will back away from Niger because of its central location in the Sahel and because of the proliferation of militant groups around it, including Nigeria's Islamic State-linked Boko Haram and Al-Qaeda affiliates. Several current and former U.S. officials with Africa experience said they expected U.S. military focus on the Sahel to grow, not decrease. Retired General Donald Bolduc, who led U.S. Special Operations in Africa until June, said the military should retain a small footprint in Africa but needed more intelligence and surveillance resources, and medical and air support. While the most assets have gone to the Middle East and Afghanistan, there needs to be a different perspective on how we allocate the resources between theaters, he said. He expressed surprise at the idea that the unit which was ambushed had been redirected to focus on a militant leader. Senior militant leaders are normally well protected, Bolduc said, with rings of security guards and layers of militants who communicate with one another via radio. I'm as confused about it as you are, he said. That's not how it's done. The resources and planning didn't seem to be there for that kind of operation.